Well, it's not long ago wherein I was sitting right where you're sitting here, maybe just another college. And I understand that we don't love to hear people for too long. So I appreciate that, but unfortunately for you, you would still have to give me a couple of minutes, maybe 5 minutes or so. While I do that, we've heard great things from Mr. Sinha, and I think a lot of us may find it philosophical, but my sincere advice to you would be just think about it for 5 minutes when you move out of this room. A lot of what he said is going to define how successful you may become in whatever you may want to do tomorrow. And it's as important as that. There are quite a few things that I've learned for myself here, and I would want to carry that with me forever. And I can definitely say that it will be extremely important for all of you. And today, while I have this opportunity, let me also try and share some of these things that I've learned over these last 19 years that I've spent doing business. And of course, I was studying parallelly at that time, so don't get me wrong that I'm not too old, by the way. Right? One of the things that I would definitely want to share with you is sort of a myth that we all carry, that learning is generally very, very structured. Right? It happens in certain places like schools or colleges. Learning for me has never been more unstructured than it could have been, for that matter. In my opinion, whatever I learned, 90% of that may have been outside just the schools and the colleges. It does not mean that the schools and colleges do not offer anything to us. They offer a platform which nobody else does offer. So there is enough value of being a part of a school or a college. But then, when my grandfather asked me to get a car repaired for him and stay with the mechanic for 4 hours and watch what he does, I don't think any school or college ever could have taught me about that. And I could have never imagined that if we were to run IndiaMART, that knowledge would come fairly handy, because now I know what is it that the mechanic needs to buy online to service a car. And it helps my business. When my grandfather wanted me to do gardening with him, I thought this was a sheer waste of time. Never enjoyed doing that. I never knew that I would learn so much about plants and garden tools that would come in handy in running this business that I do today. My grandfather wanted me to read newspapers every single morning, both Hindi as well as English. Right? I thought this was one of the most terrible things that he is doing to me, and why does he really want me to do that? I never thought that this was going to be useful, and I can't tell you how useful it has been for me ever since I've sort of come on this side wherein I have to conduct business and I have to talk to people. I never liked talking to people at all till about 2001. Fairly silent, didn't want to speak. Unfortunately, when you're thrown in front of 200 people who are working with you, you have to speak. You can't just get out of it. I was talking to Bhumika a while ago, and I said I didn't know how to speak in English in front of so many people. And this is as recent as I said, 2001, 2002. Unfortunately, I was forced, but there came in that whole understanding of what public speaking was all about. Because when I read those newspapers for my grandfather, he would come back and tell me, look, this is sounding very uninteresting. You can say this in a far superior fashion. If you say this like this, I would probably be more attentive to you than ever. This is what I learned from him. Right? And therefore, for all of you, you may think that there are things in your life which are useless, which you may not want to do, right? Which either your family, your friends, your colleagues, your teachers, people around you may force you to do. Believe me, a lot of that, and a lot of that is not wasteful. It's learning as long as you want to capture that. And it will be extremely, extremely important for you to do that. And I've learned this the hard way, but that's one truth that has come my way all this while. The other thing that is that our vision is not a function of our education. In fact, our visions are way beyond what we just learn as education that we know of today. I'll tell you, why I feel that. Again, an example from my family, because that is what I know most about. My grandfather had 11 children, including 5 daughters, right? And he sent all 5 of them to hostel in late 60s to Vanastali Vidyapith, where they learned, educated. It was very hard to get them married, right? But he still said that, look, whether marriage happens or not, you still go and learn that. Ever since, our parents went to those hostels, they learned, started off at that point in time, which is enabling me to do what I do here today. It wasn't possible had that learning not been instilled into us when we started off as kids. And it is now that I appreciate how important, how big the vision my grandfather carried for himself was. And by the way, he was a class 4th dropout. He never learned anything in English, but he could speak English much better than me. Right? He did not go through this whole college phenomenon at that point in time, but he still knew about world a lot more than I know about it even today. Right? And that is something which is extremely, extremely important. So when you get out of this college, don't be restricted in your thinking that I've done management education, I've specialized in marketing, I've specialized in finance, and hence I would want to do X, Y, or Z work, or I would want to work with A, B, and C company. Think about what is it that you can do with your life and what you've learned in life, which is beyond this. You will find very, very interesting things that will come your way. Very interesting things. Some of you may become entrepreneurs, some of you may become very successful professionals. Some of you may not do work which is in the commercial area, you may do something which is non-commercial. Some of you may get into academics. But just think about what is beyond this whole obvious that one can do. And define your own vision about what is it that you would have wanted to achieve, right, for yourself, which is beyond all of this. Do that, it's extremely important. The third thing which I would want to share with you is, this whole phenomenon around successful, unsuccessful, black, white, right, wrong. I have tried to, think about this a lot of times. Unfortunately, nature seems to be far too complex than what a normal human being like me can ever understand. God is great, and He's created something which is far too complex, much more complex than any of these computer software programs that you have to write, by the way. I've never found very, very, straight answers as to, whether, for example, we were told to switch off our mobile phones. One of the photographer's mobile phone was ringing. Now, whether that was wrong, or that when the phone started to ring, I had a smile on my face, whether that was right. I thought for me it was good because it brought me a smile on my face, which doesn't come so often every single day while I'm there at the office, right? So it's something which is very valuable to me. While it does break the discipline around here, so it might be bad. But I don't know how to classify that as good, bad, ugly, right, wrong. I don't know, right? There are people who would, try and put everything in a very compartmentalized format of this right, wrong, successful, unsuccessful. A lot of you, for example, may think that people who build up billion-dollar businesses are the ones who've actually made it in their lives, right? People like us who've done something of that nature may be thinking the other way around, right? I still miss those, that time period between 19 and 25, wherein I was slogging for 14 hours inside the office and not roaming around with my girlfriends. I had none. I can't have any girlfriends now at all. Right? I have a son and a daughter, my wife, all of them are going to kick me out. I'm missing that, and I will miss that for all my life now. I'll have to be born again, and by that time everything would have been washed out. I don't know what I'm going to do the next time. But it's all over. So, see, life is a lot more beyond this black, white, right, wrong, rich, poor phenomenon. Think about everything that you can do in this life. Think about, maybe you may want to ask a question to yourself. Who am I? Right? It's a good question to ask. Am I the CEO of XYZ company? Am I the manager of XYZ unit of a company? Am I a son? Am I a daughter? Am I a brother? Am I a sister? Am I a student? Am I what? Am I a human being? Am I a citizen of a country? What? All of us are many things, by the way. There are multiple things in our life that we can go ahead and do. And all of those, by the way, bring you a lot of learning, a lot of satisfaction, and a lot of happiness. If I can do something for my country today, the amount of happiness that it gives me is beyond the success of a product that I launch at IndiaMART. If I'm able to do something for, two guys who want to start off, build up their own company, right, who come in from a fairly humble background, the amount of happiness that is going to give me is more than starting off another venture myself. Right? I feel extremely happy when my daughter comes, and holds me like this. Those 5 minutes of happiness, I can sacrifice 5 years of my happiness at my office now. Things are more beautiful than just being measured in very, very segregated compartments for all of us. Think about your life in a much more broader form, and you would want to make the best use of the time that you have available across all of those things. Everybody says focus, ek hi cheez karo, don't do the other stuff. In life, please don't focus. Enjoy everything that you have. This is a life that we've been blessed with, and it's far more beautiful when you look at it in its holistic form, rather than saying that, okay, I want to earn $1 billion for myself. It will happen. Don't care about that. It will happen if things keep on moving. It won't happen if you're not moving. That's the only way forward. Don't just get restricted because of that. You will miss a lot of things. Visit different countries, meet different people, do something for your people who are around you, for your loved ones. You will have a far more satisfying life ahead of you than just by building up one single company, which is $1 billion company, or becoming CEO of one of those multinationals that all of us wanted to become CEOs of. It's far beyond that, and believe me, it may sound cliche today because we keep on hearing about it. I thought it was important for me to re-emphasize that at this age of 38 itself, I feel like that. Right? And I've missed quite a bit of stuff, and I'm not going to miss all of that, which is from this age to whatever age I live. I'm definitely not going to miss all of that. And lastly, if there was something that I would want to really be known to, or be extremely cautious about and remember, are 3 words in which I can summarize a lot of things that I felt are important for a person. The first, of course, is honest. Again, a very cliched word. Everybody talks about being honest. The definition for being honest for me is, don't be honest to anyone else outside the world, be honest to yourself. And that's the most important thing that you can do. Right? You might do 10 things which are not so right, but as long as you're honest to yourself, you will have a very, very fulfilling life for yourself. The second thing that I should touch upon is humility. Right? Now, humility is something which doesn't cost us anything. It just comes in naturally. It's for free. Enjoy it. But humility can get you things which cannot be bought using money. Right? And there are tons of examples of people who've gone ahead and done that. Mahatma Gandhi being one of them. So humility is free, is absolutely free, but it can buy you things which MasterCard can't. Right? Enjoy that. I picked that line from them. Sorry for that IPR infringement. And lastly, be human. All of us are human beings here. And in my opinion, a lot of us have forgotten what being human is all about. Be human to people around you. Be human to yourself. Let's not try and become the superstars, of the Star Wars for that matter. We are not robots. We are not machines. Right? We are very, very beautiful creation of God, and we have things which others probably would never have even thought about. Enjoy that. Right? So be honest, be humble, and be human. Success will follow. Don't worry about it. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.